Probably, well, laughing. So when I started laughing, it was because I forgot.
Goldie Hawn. She had a smile that could light up a room and a laugh that made the world fall in love. Goldie Hawn, America's beloved darling, Academy Award winner, and the reigning queen of feel-good cinema. But behind that iconic golden glow and infectious laughter was a woman on a deeply personal journey, searching for authenticity and meaning. Her life wasn't all joy and glitter. After enduring 2 unsuccessful marriages and emotional heartbreak, she continued to radiate that unmistakable charm and light in her eyes. Now, at 79, Goldie Hawn is pulling back the curtain, sharing intimate details about the one man who, in her words, truly understood her. The one person who made her feel something no one else ever could. And no, it's not the man most people would have guessed. Join us as we delve into the rarely told love story and examine the layers of her private life. Goldie Jean Hawn was born in Washington, D.C., with performing in her blood. Her mother, Laura, managed both a jewelry store and a dance academy, while her father, Edward Hawn, a musician and orchestra conductor, came from a blend of German and English ancestry. He was even related to Edward Rutledge, the youngest signer of the Declaration of Independence. Her mother's lineage was Jewish, tracing back to ancestors who immigrated from Hungary. Raised in a Jewish household in Tacoma Park, Maryland, Goldie had one sister, Patty. What the sisters didn't know growing up was that they once had an older brother, Edward Jr., who had tragically passed away as an infant before Patty was born. From the time she was just 3 years old, Goldie showed a flair for the spotlight. She began ballet and tap classes and quickly displayed a natural talent for the stage. By age 10, she was already performing in the Nutcracker with the Ballets Russes de Monte Carlo. But that was just the start. By 1964, she had acted in Romeo and Juliet and even operated her own ballet school. She eventually dropped out of college where she had been studying drama. Her first professional appearance came during the New York World's Fair in the Texas Pavilion's Can-Can show. Not long after, she found herself working as a go-go dancer in nightclubs across New York and New Jersey. Hollywood didn't take long to take notice. In 1968, Goldie landed her breakthrough television role on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. With her infectious giggle, quirky one-liners, and dazzling smile, she quickly became a fan favorite and one of the most recognizable faces on TV. That same year, she had a minor role in the film The One and Only, Genuine Original Family Band. But it was her part in Cactus Flower, 1969, that truly catapulted her to stardom. Her performance won her both an Academy Award and a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress. No longer just the comic relief, Goldie Hawn proved she had serious talent. She starred in a string of hit films like There's a Girl in My Soup, Butterflies Are Free, The Sugarland Express, Shampoo, Foul Play, Seems Like Old Times, and Private Benjamin. The latter even earned her another Oscar nomination, this time for Best Actress. Her success continued through the years with popular titles such as Overboard, Death Becomes Her, The First Wives Club, and The Christmas Chronicles. She became a comedic icon for multiple generations. But while her professional life was filled with glittering success, her personal life was marked by struggles that often went unseen. Before fame came knocking, Goldie had several early romances. Among them was actor Mark Goddard, and she also briefly dated singer Spiro Venduris. But her first major relationship was with Gus Triconis, a dancer and actor known for West Side Story. They met in the late 1960s while performing and hit it off immediately. She even claimed she knew she wanted to marry him from the moment they met. They tied the knot in Hawaii in May 1969. However, as Goldie's star began to rise, things shifted. Gus struggled to find consistent work while Goldie became a household name. Their lives began to diverge. The gap between them widened, and by 1973, they had separated. Though they had gone their separate ways, Goldie didn't officially file for divorce until New Year's Eve of 1975. At that point, she was already engaged to someone else. The divorce was finalized in June 1976, just weeks before she remarried. Her second husband was musician and actor Bill Hudson of the Hudson Brothers. They met on a first-class flight from New York to Los Angeles, and sparks flew quickly. On July 3, 1976, they married in her hometown. Together they had 2 children, Oliver and Kate, both of whom would later find success as actors. Despite what seemed like a picture-perfect union, the cracks formed quickly. In 1980, Bill filed for divorce. He later admitted that on their wedding day, he already had doubts. He recalled feeling like the luckiest man in the world until Goldie leaned in and asked, "Are you sure we did the right thing?" That question haunted him. Bill said he had been fully committed to building a traditional family, but felt Goldie didn't share that same dream. According to him, she craved independence and didn't believe in conventional marriage values. After their split, things grew even more tense, particularly around parenting. Bill felt sidelined in his children's lives and said that being cut out was one of the deepest wounds he carried. Over time, both of Goldie's ex-husbands aired their grievances, many of which were not flattering. Gus Triconis said fame had changed her and blamed her celebrity lifestyle for the end of their marriage. He claimed she was drawn into the Hollywood elite, citing people like Barbra Streisand and Jack Nicholson, and that she started acting erratically. Bill Hudson was even more vocal. He accused Goldie of crafting a public image that didn't match reality, calling her manipulative, cold, and self-centered. He disputed her claim that they had an open marriage, saying that idea was never discussed or agreed upon. Most painful for him was the sense that he lost his role as a father. Despite being the smiling face of Hollywood, Goldie Hawn experienced profound pain and loss in her personal relationships. Her marriages ended badly, and her exes carried resentment long after the splits. Still, she persevered. She focused on raising her children, creating positive change through her foundation, and, most importantly, opening her heart once more. The love story of Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell began long before they realized it. Their first meeting happened in 1966, on the set of the one and only genuine original Family Band. At the time, Goldie was 21 and Kurt was just 16. Though the age difference made a romance unlikely, Goldie later said she thought he was absolutely adorable. But nothing came of it. Both were young and uninterested in dating fellow actors. That early connection faded into memory. 17 years later, everything changed. In 1983, they reunited when Kurt auditioned for Swing Shift. That's when fate stepped in. Kurt, feeling hungover and anxious from the night before, blurted out a line the moment he saw her. "Man, you've got a great figure." It may have been awkward, but it was real, and it reignited a spark that would grow into a lifelong bond. Kurt Russell recalled the moment with a smile, saying, "It could have gone sideways, but Goldie just grinned and said, 'Why, thank you.'" That simple, unexpected reply shattered the tension and set the tone for their future. Not long after, they went on their first date, and it was anything but typical. Their evening kicked off at the Playboy Club, where they danced to lively swing tunes. As the night continued, they decided to visit a home Goldie Hawn had recently purchased. There was just one problem. She didn't have the keys yet. So, the pair actually broke into the house. Yes, you read that right. They broke into her own property. Wandering through the empty rooms, they eventually found themselves in what would become the bedroom. As things began to heat up, fate had a surprise. The police arrived. Forced to leave, they continued their night at a nearby hotel. "That was our first date," Kurt recalled. "It was a blast." That thrilling night sparked something real. Once filming began on Swing Shift, the two spent more time together, and their feelings deepened. Goldie said that what initially drew her in wasn't just how handsome Kurt was, it was his sincerity. "He didn't put on any act," she remembered. "I could tell immediately he wasn't the type to chase women. What truly won her over, though, was how he treated her children." Goldie already had two, Oliver and Kate, from her previous marriage to Bill Hudson. She'd bring them to set, and she watched Kurt interact with them. "What really touched me," she said, "was how naturally he connected with my kids. That's when I knew this was more than romance. It was the real thing." By 1986, 3 years into their relationship, they welcomed their own child, Wyatt Russell. Their blended family now included Oliver, Kate, and Kurt's son Boston from a previous marriage. Though they never tied the knot, they never felt the need to. In 2021, Goldie shared a birthday tribute to Kurt that perfectly summed up their journey. "No, we never married," she wrote. "But our love just keeps growing." She called him a wild one, brilliant, lovable, childlike, maddening in the best way, a father beyond compare, and hilariously funny. She ended the post with, "I can't picture life without you, Kurt Russell. You're my catch, and you're all mine." Their bond wasn't limited to private moments. One of their most adored films together was Overboard, 1987, where Goldie played a spoiled heiress who loses her memory, and Kurt's character tricks her into thinking they're married. The film's playful spirit mirrored their real-life chemistry. Years later, in 2020, the couple caught the film on TV unexpectedly. Goldie, smiling, reflected, "It was amazing how it all started." Their connection was also on full display at public events. In 1989, the couple walked the Oscars stage together. Goldie quipped, "We fit the theme perfectly. We're co-stars, companions, and a couple." Kurt added, "Only one thing. We're not married." As the audience laughed, Goldie playfully asked, "Is that a proposal?" Kurt winked and replied, "We'll talk about it later." In 1996, they attended the premiere of The First Wives Club, where Goldie starred alongside Diane Keaton and Bette Midler. Kurt stood proudly by her side, joined by their children, turning the night into a full family affair. With time, the family expanded. Goldie and Kurt became grandparents to 7 grandchildren. Despite the spotlight, they built a lasting, grounded life full of laughter, hard work, and unity. They didn't need a wedding to confirm what they already had, an unshakable partnership. In a 2003 interview, Goldie mentioned, "I'm in no rush, but I would love to be a grandmother. That would be so much fun." Not long after, Kate Hudson announced her pregnancy. On January 8, 2004, she and then-husband Chris Robinson welcomed their son, Ryder Russell Robinson. Kate, just 24 at the time, knew exactly why she wanted to start a family young. "I want my kids to grow up with my parents around. I want them to see my kids graduate," she said. Just like that, Goldie and Kurt stepped into a new role: grandparents. In 2006, the couple appeared at the Italian premiere of Poseidon, one of Kurt's major films. On the red carpet, he surprised Goldie with a kiss, a fan-favorite moment that captured the essence of their affection. By 2016, Goldie celebrated her 71st birthday in style at Catch LA, a Hollywood hotspot. Kurt arrived carrying a large gift, but the most meaningful surprise was waiting at home. Their daughter Kate posted a touching photo of a fireplace Kurt had built in their new home. "My pa laid the stone for the fireplace," Kate wrote, "and he carved a heart representing Mama, and him too. There were also 4 little hearts for us kids." It was a small act, but it spoke volumes about the love at the heart of their family. In 2017, Goldie stood beaming at the premiere of Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2, where Kurt had a major role. She told reporters, "I'm always proud of him." She hadn't even seen the movie yet. Just being there for Kurt was what mattered. The most emotional milestone came just weeks later. In May 2017, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell were honored with side-by-side stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It wasn't just a celebration of their work. It was a tribute to their enduring love. Goldie later said, "It turned into a love fest. I had no idea he was going to be that beautiful." During his speech, Kurt looked at her and said, "To you, I owe my wonderful life. I cherish you. All the stars in the sky or on this boulevard can't compare." He concluded, "There's no one else I'd rather be next to for all of it than Goldie Hawn." They sealed the moment with a kiss in front of their stars, a rare, heartfelt Hollywood moment. Later that month, Goldie reflected on their lasting love. Gratitude, compassion, and love, because sometimes we drive each other crazy, but we keep showing up. Their story wasn't built on glamour, but on real, steady devotion. In 2018, Goldie and Kurt reunited on screen as Mr. and Mrs. Claus in The Christmas Chronicles on Netflix, their first film together in decades. It was another chapter in a love story that continues to grow with every year. "Would you like the continuation rephrased as well?" He said, "It could have ended badly, but Goldie just smiled and said, 'Why, thank you.'" That little moment broke the tension. Not long after, they went on their very first date, and to say it was unconventional would be an understatement. Their night began at the iconic Playboy Club, where they danced to swing music. Later on, they headed over to a new house Goldie had just purchased. There was only one problem. She didn't have the keys yet, so naturally they broke in. That's right. On their very first date, Goldie and Kurt broke into her own house. Wandering through the empty rooms, they eventually ended up in what Goldie imagined would be the bedroom. That's when things started to heat up. But just as the moment was becoming intimate, flashing lights showed up. The police. They had to quickly leave and finish their night at a hotel. That was our first date, Kurt later recalled. It was a lot of fun. From that wild night onward, things moved quickly between them. Once filming began on swing shift, they spent even more time together. And that's when the bond really began to deepen. Goldie said she found Kurt incredibly attractive, but it was his authenticity that stood out most. He had no pretense, she explained. I could see right away that he wasn't a womanizer. But the thing that touched her the most? How he treated her children. Goldie had 2 kids, Oliver and Kate, from her previous marriage to Bill Hudson. She occasionally brought them to set and quietly observed how Kurt interacted with them. What really got me, she shared, was watching my kids. He was just incredible with them, so natural. It wasn't just romance anymore. It was something real, something deep. They weren't just falling in love. They were building a family. In 1986, 3 years after they started dating, Goldie and Kurt welcomed a son of their own, Wyatt Russell. He joined their blended family, which already included Oliver, Kate, and Kurt's son Boston from a previous relationship. They never walked down the aisle, and they never felt the need to. In 2021, Goldie posted a heartfelt birthday tribute to Kurt, summing it all up. No, we never got married. But one thing that keeps growing is our love. She called him a wild one, brilliant, lovable, childlike, perfectly maddening, a father supreme, and deeply funny. Then she added, I can't imagine my life without you at any age, Kurt Russell. You're the catch, and you're all mine. Through the years, they shared not only their home, but also the big screen. One of their most beloved films was Overboard in 1987. Goldie played a spoiled heiress who loses her memory, and Kurt's character convinces her they're married. It was funny, sweet, and overflowing with the same chemistry they shared off-screen. Years later, they caught the film on TV unexpectedly in 2020. It was so fabulous how we started, Goldie recalled, smiling at the memory. Their love wasn't just reserved for private moments. They shared big Hollywood stages, too. In 1989, they appeared together at the Academy Awards. While on stage, Goldie said, We fit the theme of tonight's show. We're co-stars, we're companions, and we're a couple. Kurt grinned and added, There's only one thing we're not. Married. The audience laughed and applauded. Goldie smiled back and quipped, Is that a proposal? Kurt responded, We'll talk about that later tonight. She winked and said, We will talk about it later. It was funny, charming, and authentic, just like their relationship. In 1996, they attended the premiere of The First Wives Club, which starred Goldie alongside Diane Keaton and Bette Midler. Kurt stood proudly beside her, and their kids were there too. It was a true family moment. Over the years, Goldie and Kurt became grandparents, 7 times over. They kept their love strong and their family even stronger. In 2003, Goldie shared in an interview that she was looking forward to being a grandmother. It would be so much fun, she said. Not long after, Kate Hudson announced she was expecting. On January 8, 2004, Kate and her then-husband, Chris Robinson, welcomed Ryder Russell Robinson. At just 24, Kate said she wanted her children to grow up knowing their grandparents. I want my parents to see my kids graduate from high school, she said. Just like that, Goldie and Kurt became grandparents. In 2006, they attended the Italian premiere of Poseidon, Kurt's big blockbuster at the time. On the red carpet, he gave Goldie a kiss. Fans adored seeing their love on display. Fast forward to 2016, and Goldie celebrated her 71st birthday at Catch LA, one of Hollywood's trendiest restaurants. Kurt came in carrying a big present, but the real gift was waiting at home. Kate shared a photo of a fireplace that Kurt had built by hand in their new home. My pa laid the stone for the fireplace, she wrote. And if you look closely, there's a big heart for Mama. And I'd say him too. 4 little hearts for us kids. In 2017, they walked the red carpet for Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2, where Kurt had a major role. Goldie beamed with pride. I'm always proud of him, she said. She hadn't even seen the film yet, but just being there meant everything. Then came a milestone moment, May 2017, when both Goldie and Kurt received stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They stood side by side during the ceremony. "It became a love fest," Goldie later said. "I had no idea he'd say something so beautiful." During his speech, Kurt turned to her and said, "To you, I owe my wonderful life. Simply put, Goldie, I cherish you. All the stars in the sky or on this boulevard can't hold a candle to that." He ended with, "There's no one else I'd rather be next to for all of this than Goldie Hawn." They kissed by their stars. It was one of those rare Hollywood moments that felt absolutely genuine. Later that month, Goldie reflected on what made their relationship last. Love, gratitude, compassion. Because every man or woman will drive their partner crazy at some point. But their connection went beyond fame. It was about building a life, one moment at a time. In 2018, they reunited on screen again as Mr. and Mrs. Claus in the Christmas Chronicles. It was their first film together since Overboard, and fans were thrilled. Goldie's part was small but heartfelt, and even their son Oliver made an appearance. By the sequel in 2020, Goldie had taken on a full role as Mrs. Claus. Kurt later explained why they didn't do more films together. Movies that Goldie Hawn does and movies that Kurt Russell does, they're different things. Just because you love someone doesn't mean you should do 15 movies together. In October 2018, Kate gave birth to her daughter Ronnie Rose, and the family grew once more. Goldie and Kurt often shared photos of their grandkids: Ryder, Bingham, Ronnie, Bodie, Wilder, Rio, and Buddy. Each child was adored. In March 2019, they flew to Hawaii to celebrate Kurt's 68th birthday. Goldie posted a video of them laughing and walking hand in hand, still having fun like teenagers. By December 2020, they opened up more in People magazine. "You've just got to want to be together," Goldie said. "It's not about marriage. It's about the people and the will to stay together." She added, "You've got to give things up, but the joy and excitement of being close to someone, of touching their toes at night, that's a beautiful feeling." In January 2021, they added a new member to the family, a puppy named Roy Hawn Russell. Goldie shared a sweet picture cuddling the pup. It was just another sign of the warmth and life they'd built together. Valentine's Day 2022 marked 39 years since they first got together. Goldie posted a loving tribute to Kurt. Still, fans continued to wonder, why never get married? In March 2023, Kurt told Variety, "People always asked us, 'Why aren't you married?' And we'd ask the same thing, 'Why does it matter?' They even asked their kids. None of them cared either." In July 2023, Goldie added her own reason in an interview with Chris Wallace. "Divorce is always ugly. How many divorces don't cost money? How many don't hurt children?" She said something that perfectly summed up their bond. "I love the idea that I can wake up every morning and make a choice to stay. That's real commitment, stronger than paper." Then in December 2023, the couple was spotted enjoying a snowy vacation in Aspen, Colorado, holding hands and smiling. But a few weeks later, Goldie opened up on Kelly Ripa's podcast about a serious event. Their LA home had been broken into, twice. She recalled the first break-in. "We were out to dinner and came home just a couple hours later. I walked into my closet and just lost it. The burglars had climbed the balcony, broken into the bedroom, and shattered her closet door. They knocked it right down, and it's a secure door," she said. "They got a lot of my goodies, if you know what I mean."